Every driver makes mistakes. Sometimes it's a brief lapse in judgment. Sometimes it's a moment of impatience. But every once in a while, someone makes a decision that changes their life in a matter of seconds. A simple traffic stop turns into a felony arrest. A speeding ticket becomes a criminal case. Today's video looks at 5 real police encounters where drivers pushed the limits and paid a heavy price for it. One nursing student allegedly ignored a police officer standing in the middle of the road. An 18-year-old flew through a quiet neighborhood at more than twice the speed limit. Another driver blamed his own mother after being caught driving over 100 miles per hour. One suspect led officers on a dangerous nighttime pursuit before crashing into a canal. And finally, what started as an ordinary speeding stop unexpectedly uncovered a murder suspect wanted in a shocking drive-by shooting. These aren't movie scenes. These are real incidents captured by law enforcement, showing how quickly a single decision behind the wheel can change everything. Let's begin with the first case. Case 1. Tara Palmieri. It all started with what officers believed was a hit-and-run investigation in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Police were already searching for a white Ford Mustang connected to the incident when an officer spotted one speeding down Pioneer Trail. But this wasn't ordinary speeding. Officers knew they had to stop the vehicle before someone got hurt. One fully uniformed officer stepped directly into the roadway. She raised both hands high, giving the universal signal to stop. Most drivers would slam on the brakes. At that moment, what may have begun as a traffic investigation instantly became much more serious. Failing to stop for a clearly identified police officer can quickly escalate into felony fleeing and eluding. Fortunately, officers didn't have to chase the Mustang very long. They located it parked inside a nearby neighborhood only minutes later. When confronted, the driver, identified as Tara Palmieri, didn't seem to believe she had done anything wrong. She claimed she never recognized the officer standing in the road. She repeatedly demanded to speak with a supervisor, but officers explained that the officer was fully uniformed and had clearly attempted to stop her. During the arrest, she called her father. Many people expect family members to immediately defend them. Instead, her father delivered a reality check. He criticized her attitude. He told her she was acting cocky. He reminded her that she was pursuing a nursing degree, a career built on responsibility, trust, and good judgment. Then came the warning. He explained that reckless decisions like this could destroy everything she had worked for. It was risking her future career. The legal consequences were significant. Tara was charged with felony fleeing and eluding. She was booked into jail and later released after posting a $2,500 bond. It's a powerful reminder that arguing with officers after the fact rarely changes what happened. Case 2. Sean Johns. Our next case takes us to Brunswick, Ohio. An officer was patrolling a quiet residential neighborhood when he spotted something alarming. A vehicle wasn't just speeding, it was flying. The radar displayed an unbelievable number, 60 miles per hour, in a neighborhood where the speed limit was only 25. That's more than twice the legal limit. Families walk their dogs. People back out of driveways. At 60 miles per hour, a driver has dramatically less time to react if someone suddenly steps into the road. After pulling the driver over, the officer asked the obvious question, "Why were you driving that fast?" The answer? The 18-year-old driver said he really needed to use the bathroom. He insisted his house was nearby. He also claimed he hadn't realized how fast he was driving. The officer wasn't convinced. He explained that needing to get home wasn't an excuse for putting an entire neighborhood in danger. And the stop revealed another problem. The vehicle's temporary license tag wasn't properly displayed in the rear window. That created an additional violation. Instead of receiving just one speeding ticket, the driver walked away with citations for speeding 60 and a 25. Later, he pleaded guilty to every charge. The court fined him $355 and assessed 4 points against his driver's license. But for a young driver, accumulating points early can increase insurance costs dramatically and place future driving privileges at risk. One rush trip home became an expensive lesson. Case 3. Santiago Londoño. For many drivers, seeing flashing blue lights in the rearview mirror is enough to slow down immediately. But when you're traveling at triple-digit speeds, the danger has already begun long before the stop. This next case unfolded in Lee County, Florida, where deputies were conducting routine traffic enforcement. Then one car stood out from the rest. It wasn't just passing traffic, it was blowing past nearly every vehicle on the road. Within seconds, the deputy pointed the radar toward the approaching car. The reading that appeared on the screen was impossible to ignore: 106 miles per hour. At that speed, a driver covers more than 150 feet every single second. A simple mistake that might be harmless at normal speeds can become deadly in an instant. The deputy immediately activated the patrol car's emergency lights and initiated a traffic stop. As the deputy approached the vehicle, he asked the question every officer asks after witnessing such extreme speeding: "Why were you going that fast?" The driver's response caught the deputy by surprise. He explained that his mother had asked him to hurry because he was taking a friend home. According to him, he was simply trying to get there as quickly as possible. While that may have explained why he felt rushed, it did nothing to justify driving at more than 100 miles per hour. At those speeds, every vehicle on the highway becomes vulnerable. Any of those situations can lead to a catastrophic crash. The deputy then explained that this wasn't going to end with an ordinary speeding ticket. In Florida, traveling more than 50 miles per hour above the posted speed limit can trigger the state's super speeder law, allowing officers to make an arrest instead of simply issuing a citation. Many drivers assume that no matter how fast they're going, they'll eventually receive only a fine. The driver, identified as Santiago Londoño, was informed that he was under arrest. Instead of driving away with a citation, he was placed in handcuffs and transported to the Lee County Jail. He spent the night behind bars before posting bond and being released the following day. For law enforcement, the reason is simple. At speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, the risk isn't limited to the driver alone. Saving a few minutes is never worth risking dozens of lives. And for Santiago, what began as a hurried drive to drop off a friend ended with an arrest, a night in jail, and a criminal case that could follow him long after the traffic stop was over. Case 4. Lorenzo Oliva. If you thought the previous cases involved dangerous driving, this next incident raised the stakes even higher. It began on Interstate 95 near Fort Pierce, Florida, where a Florida Highway Patrol trooper was monitoring traffic. It wasn't just moving slightly faster than the surrounding traffic, it was flying. The patrol radar recorded the vehicle traveling 115 miles per hour, a speed that leaves almost no room for error. At 115 miles per hour, a car covers nearly the length of a football field every 2 seconds. If another driver changes lanes unexpectedly, if traffic slows ahead, or if a tire fails, there's almost no time to react. A crash at that speed can have devastating consequences, not only for the driver, but for everyone nearby. Instead, the situation quickly escalated. Rather than pulling over, the driver continued ahead, forcing officers to begin a pursuit. Fortunately, despite the violent crash, the driver survived. But even after the pursuit had ended, the confrontation was far from over. Officers repeatedly instructed the driver to cooperate and provide basic identifying information. Instead, he became argumentative. When asked routine booking questions, he refused to answer several of them. In this case, the court eventually held a trial in absentia, meaning the proceedings continued without Lorenzo being present. After reviewing the evidence, the court found him guilty and ordered him to pay approximately $1,000 in court fines. Case 5. John Turek Smith. The final case proves that officers never know what they'll uncover during a routine traffic stop. This incident took place on Interstate 4 near Orlando, Florida, where Brevard County deputies clocked a vehicle traveling 105 miles per hour. At first, it appeared to be nothing more than another speeding stop. As deputies identified everyone inside the vehicle, one passenger immediately drew their attention. He was 20-year-old John Turek Smith, a suspect wanted in connection with a deadly drive-by shooting. According to investigators, the shooting targeted individuals outside a restaurant, but a 15-year-old girl sitting nearby was struck and killed. Authorities believed she was not the intended target, making the tragedy even more heartbreaking. Once deputies confirmed Smith's identity, the traffic stop instantly became a major criminal arrest. He was taken into custody and charged with premeditated murder and 2 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm. Prosecutors later announced they intended to seek the death penalty. The case is a reminder that traffic stops aren't just about speeding tickets. Every stop has the potential to uncover fugitives, illegal weapons, outstanding warrants, or suspects wanted for violent crimes. In this case, a simple speeding violation led deputies directly to a homicide suspect. These 5 cases all began with one decision behind the wheel. For Tara Palmieri, it was allegedly failing to stop for a police officer. For Sean Johns, it was speeding through a residential neighborhood at more than twice the limit. For Santiago Londoño, it was driving fast enough to be arrested under Florida's superspeeder law. For Lorenzo Oliva, it was leading officers on a dangerous pursuit that ended in a canal. And for John Turek Smith, a routine speeding stop led to an arrest in a murder investigation. The lesson is clear. Reckless driving rarely saves enough time to justify the consequences. If you enjoyed this breakdown of real police encounters, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more real body cam cases and law enforcement stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.